So, I mean, one of the things we've spoken about many times on the Great Derelict is science fiction, I think, is best when it's used as a lens to, focus on the human condition and to look at, today's problems, either speculatively in the future or through an alternate world or through aliens or anything along those lines. And as we mentioned at the top, climate fiction is in fact its own genre and has been around as long as science fiction, almost. Now, I think it's safe to say that, well, firstly, let's just get something out of the way. Climate change is real, people. So we're talking about fiction which references climate change, but it is real, it is here, it is happening. So I just wanted to make sure we got that clear. Mm-hmm. But now it seems like the conversation in, I hate to use the term mainstream media because I sound like some bloody crazy conspiracy theorist guy, but it certainly is no longer treated as a debate. It's a fact that people have come to accept. But why was it so readily apparent in science fiction and in other fiction for so much longer than it has been before it reached that acceptance around the rest of us?
Oh, very, very simple, because of the propaganda from the fossil fuel companies and the doubt that they have deliberately cast over the science of climatology, essentially. We're quite happy to accept these tropes in science fiction because they're at a remove, it's fiction. It's a lot harder for us to accept that this is actually happening to us right now and we're in a very, very real danger. And it's even harder to accept when we've had literally decades of the fossil fuel industry going, are you sure? Because we think the science says something different over here, blah, 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 and casting doubt on everything that's been, that the scientists have been trying to warn us about.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, Andy, and I 100%, go with Dave there. And of course, for a start, ecological destruction, of course, and change this magnitude for a dystopian future or whatever, or changing humanity in such a way, of course, is a fantastic plot device. So it's no surprise that a lot of people have cottoned onto that. But also, as art is also not just an expression of creativity or an expression of imagination, and it drives things forward. But art is also a protest. Art is also a way of getting stories and narratives out there, which may be in the mainstream gets brushed under the carpet or gets shunned or gets stigmatized. So I don't know whether these individual authors or these individual content makers or creatives, were absolutely, without a doubt that the climate is changing. And some of them might have done it out as a protest. So, like, this story needs to be told. It's not getting the mainstream kind of exposure that it needs to be. So I'm going to use my fiction. I'm going to use my writing skills to go back.
Yeah, there's a great author called Octavia E. Butler who wrote a story in the 90s called The Parable of the Sower. She was writing science fiction long before that, but The Parable of the Sower is perhaps one of her more famous ones in the realm of cli-fi, as it's called. Yep. But anyway, so The Parable of the Sower was, as Kit was saying, almost a protest-driven bit of fiction where she basically uses a family and an individual in that family to describe the breakdown of the civilization around her as resources dwindle and the government becomes completely ineffective at managing the situation, and people are forced to migrate because the change in the climate means that there's no agriculture, there's therefore no jobs, and people are forced to move northwards to where these things might exist and encounter on the way resistance from, fellow travelers, from towns that they go through who aren't interested in seeing migrants come through, and from the government itself that tries to stop them, and also, interestingly, from corporations that try to enslave them to work on and so on. And it's I read it only recently, and it's one of those books where I was just kind of like, oh my goodness, this is happening in some places right now. Yes. It's incredibly prophetic and written only 30 years ago.